Have you ever stopped to think about how you feel when the day starts and the weight is already there? It's not the traffic, it's not the boss, it's not the notifications flashing on your cell phone. It's something deeper, quieter, but infinitely stronger. It's a war that you fight every day, but that no one sees. A war inside you, against that voice that whispers that you are not enough, that today is not the day, that the world is against you. But here's the truth that could change everything. The biggest enemy isn't out there. It lives in your head. And the good. Let me tell you about Anna. In 2025, she is a freelancer trying to survive in a sea of deadlines and social media. She wakes up to her cell phone vibrating, clients charging, friends posting perfect lives, and her head is already racing. I can't handle it. Everyone is ahead of me. Her heart sinks, her hands shake, and she thinks about giving up before she even starts. Until one night, exhausted, she picks up a dusty book from the shelf. The words of Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. Something sparks inside her. Anna realizes that it's not the work or the world. It's the battle she created in her mind and decides to fight. It's not just Anna. According to the World Health Organization, in 2024, 1 in 4 adults will report symptoms of burnout. It's not just the stress of everyday life, it's what we do with it in our heads. How many times have you blamed the world for something that deep down was a fight against yourself? How many times have you let fear, doubt, or laziness hold you back, like chains you forged yourself? Stoicism, that ancient philosophy that spanned centuries, holds the key. Master your mind, and the rest falls into line. It's not about erasing emotions, it's about taking control of them, about choosing action. So today, I want you to mark this moment. This isn't just another video introduction, it's the beginning of a transformation. In the comments, write, "Today I face my internal war." It's not just a sentence, it's an oath, a cry against that version of you that pulls you back. Because believe me, the power to change is not in the next like, the next holiday, or the next empty promise. It is there, inside you, waiting to be awakened. Let's start this journey together. So take a deep breath, because the silent war has begun, and you will win it. The fear you build. Imagine the grinding of a saw cutting wood, the warm smell of sawdust filling the air, and the sweat beading on John's forehead as he works in his small carpentry shop. It's 2025, and João, a 40-year-old craftsman, feels the ground shaking beneath his feet, not from an earthquake, but from something more subtle and devastating: fear. He hears about machines that manufacture in minutes what takes him hours to sculpt with his hands. Customers are disappearing, bills accumulate like dust in the corners of the workshop, and a voice inside him keeps whispering, "Your time is up. You can't compete with the new world." It's a cold, insistent voice that makes him imagine the workshop closed, the tools sold, and himself lost, without purpose. Fear swallows you whole. He thinks about giving up, about throwing away the hammer he inherited from his grandfather, about abandoning the job that was once his life. But then, one silent afternoon, as he sweeps the chip-covered floor, something changes. João picks up a crooked piece of wood, a reject that no one would buy, and decides to give it a chance. He spends hours carving, sanding, feeling the splinters scratch his fingers, until he transforms that imperfect trunk into a unique bench with smooth curves that no machine could copy. He shows it to his neighbor, who widens his eyes and asks, "How much does it cost?" Soon others come after, asking for more. And at that moment, with the smell of fresh varnish in the air, João understands a truth that fear had hidden. The monster he feared was bigger in his head than in reality. He didn't need to compete with machines. He needed to create what they never could. Have you ever felt this? That knot in your stomach when something seems too big, too impossible? Maybe it's the fear of failing a project, losing a job, or not being as good as others you see on social media. According to the American Psychological Association, in 2023, 7 out of every 10 fears we feel will never come true. That's 70%. Most of what paralyzes you is an illusion, a shadow that you cast on the wall of your mind. Stoicism has known this for centuries. Seneca, that man who faced exile and the wrath of emperors, wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Think carefully. How many times have you invented a monster, an angry boss firing you, a failure that humiliates you in front of everyone, a future where nothing goes right, and let it grow just because you stood by, imagining the worst? Fear is like a thick fog. The more you stay planted in the same place, the more it surrounds you, the more it suffocates you. But when you take a step towards it, it starts to fall apart. Joan could have given up carpentry, but he took action. And you? How many times have you let fear win because you waited too long, thinking too much? Maybe it's that email you don't respond to, that idea that remains only on paper, or that difficult conversation that you push through with your stomach. The Stoics had the antidote. Fear grows in waiting, but dies in action. So here's what you're going to do. When fear hits, and it will hit, don't drown in thoughts. Count to 3. 3, 2, 1, and go. It can be small. Sending a message, getting up from your chair, taking the first swing at what scares you. It doesn't matter how big the step is, it matters that you move, because the real danger is not what is out there. The machines, the deadlines, the others. It's what you let grow inside you. Joan transformed a crooked piece of wood into something valuable, something no one else had. And you? What can you transform today if you decide to face fear? He is not your master. He is just a guest that you can send away. So tell me in the comments, what fear will you face today? Let's prove together that he is weaker than he seems. Grab your hammer, or whatever you have, and get started. The doubt that paralyzes you. Think of a dark night, the distant sound of cars whizzing through the city, and me sitting at my desk, staring at an email that seemed to judge me. It was 2023, and I had received an invitation to speak at a local event. My first chance to stand on a stage, to share something I believed in, to prove that I could go further. The cursor flashed on the screen like a challenge, but my hands were frozen. What if I got stuck in the middle of speaking? What if the audience laughed at me? What if I wasn't good enough to be there? Doubt came in like a cold, biting wind, whispering that I wasn't ready, that it was safer to say no and stay in my comfort zone. I asked for a day to think, then 2, then a week. The deadline passed, the invitation went to someone else, and I was left with the silence of my own hesitation. I didn't lose to someone more prepared. I lost to myself. Months later, another invitation came. This time I said yes. I got on stage, my legs shaking, my voice cracking at first, but I spoke. Nobody laughed, some even applauded. Doubt had lied all along. You've felt this, haven't you? That hesitation that holds you right on the edge of something that could change everything. Maybe it's when you think about asking for a raise, but imagine the boss looking at you with contempt. Or when you want to start a new course but think it's too late to learn. Or even when you want to say what you feel to someone, but you fear that the response will be cruel silence. Doubt is an invisible monster, a thief that lives inside your head, stealing your chances before you even try, and she is stronger than ever. In 2025, a Pew Research survey showed that 80% of young people between the ages of 18 and 34 feel they are not good enough because of comparison on social media. 80%. We spend hours scrolling, seeing perfect lives, sculpted bodies, brilliant successes, and the doubt grows like a weed. I'll never get there. They're better than me. My moment has passed. But here's what doubt doesn't want you to see. It's not a fact. It's a choice you make. Marcus Aurelius, that emperor who commanded armies and faced plagues, had already unmasked this enemy centuries ago. He wrote, "If it is within your power, why fear? If it is not, why worry?" It's simple, direct, and cuts like a blade. Doubt only paralyzes you if you give it space to grow. In that first event, I let her win because I was thinking too much, weighing every what if like it was a chain. The second time, I used it as fuel. And you? How many times have you let doubt steal something that was rightfully yours? How many times have you been spinning in circles, stuck in a sea of maybes, instead of taking a step and finding out what happens? So here's how you defeat this monster. Don't give him time to get stronger. When doubt appears, and it will appear, sneaky as always, count to 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and decide. Accept the invitation, press send, raise your hand, say what needs to be said. It doesn't need to be 100% ready, because no one ever is. Not even I was on that stage, with my heart in my mouth and sweat dripping. The secret is that confidence doesn't come before the step. It comes after, when you see that you survived. Doubt is not a sign to stop. It is a test for you to move forward. What are you waiting for? In the comments, tell me, what question will you face today? Take that what if that holds you back and turn it into I did it. Because the only thing between you and what you want is this voice that you can silence right now. Come on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get started. Action. The mirror of your soul. Imagine the strong smell of fresh paint filling the air, the harsh sound of a brush scratching a canvas, and Elias, a middle-aged painter, standing in his messy studio. He's that kind of person everyone knows, full of big dreams, always telling stories about the masterpieces he will one day create. I'm going to paint something that will stop time, he tells his friends, his eyes sparkling, his voice filled with a fire that seems inextinguishable. But the weeks turn into months, the months turn into years, and the canvases remain white, stacked in a corner, covered in a thin layer of dust. Elias keeps saying that he is waiting for the right moment, the perfect inspiration, the calm that never comes. Until one day, an apprentice enters the studio, a 15-year-old boy, thin, quiet, with curious eyes. He looks at the empty canvases, takes a brush, dips it in black paint, and draws a crooked, irregular line right in the middle of the silence. There, he says, turning to Elijah, now it's up to you. Elias stands still, his heart pounding, but something snaps inside him. That afternoon, he paints. It's not perfect. The colors run, the lines tremble, but it's real. For the first time in years, he sees himself in what he has done, as if the paint had drawn not only the canvas, but his soul. Have you ever been the Elijah of your own story? How many times have you promised something great? A project that will change everything, a change you swear will happen, a version of yourself that you insist is coming, but left the screens of your life blank. We love talking, don't we? I'll start training on Monday. This year I'm going after my dream. I'll organize everything tomorrow. The words come out easily. They warm the chest for a moment, but then they dissipate like smoke. And here's something you need to know. A study from New York University in 2024 found that when we talk excitedly about what we're going to do, our brain releases dopamine, the same chemical reward we feel when we actually achieve something. This means that just by talking, you feel good, even if nothing changes, even if the brush never touches the canvas. That's why there are so many people addicted to promises, to plans that never get off the ground, while the studio of life remains untouched, accumulating dust and regrets. Epictetus, the slave who became one of the greatest philosophers in history, had already seen this trick of the mind. He said, "Don't explain your philosophy, live it. It's not what you say that defines you, it's what you do." Elias could have spent his entire life telling stories about paintings he never painted, but a crooked line woke him up to the truth. And you? How many crooked lines have you stopped drawing because you were waiting for the perfect inspiration, the perfect day, the courage that never seems to come? The world doesn't see your intentions. It doesn't hear your promises. It sees your actions. If you call yourself disciplined but sleep late every day, what are you really? If you call yourself brave, but you run away from every challenge that comes your way, who are you kidding but yourself? So listen carefully. Action is the mirror of your soul. It's not about saying that you're going to change. It's about picking up the brush and starting, even if your hand shakes, even if the line comes out crooked. Today, choose one thing you've been putting off, a task, a step, a start. It could be sending that email you avoid, doing the first 5 minutes in a workout, or writing down that idea that lives in your head. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be real. Elias discovered who he was in the ink that got on his hands, in the effort that he finally put out. And you, in the comments, tell me, what are you going to do today to see yourself in the mirror? Stop talking and start painting. Your soul is waiting to be drawn. Responsibility, your key to freedom. Imagine the insistent sound of a sewing machine cutting through the silence, the smell of new fabric mixed with bitter coffee, and Clara, a 32-year-old single mother, hunched over a small table on a sultry night in 2025. She lost her job at a neighborhood store when the crisis hit and is now raising 2 children with almost empty hands. For months, she pointed the finger at everything. the government that doesn't support, the market that doesn't hire, luck that seems to laugh in her face. Life is unfair, she repeated, as the bills piled up like bricks in a wall she couldn't climb. The weight suffocated her. The children asking for food, the late rent, the dark future. But one hot afternoon, as she patched her youngest son's torn pants, something turned inside her. She looked at her mother's old sewing machine, gathered forgotten scraps in a drawer, and began to work. She made a simple, clumsy bag with crooked lines but unique. He posted a photo in a local group, and someone bought it for 20 rays. Then came another request, and one more. Today, Clara has a small business, not because the world changed the rules, but because she stopped blaming and started building with what she had. Responsibility became the key that opened the door to her freedom. Have you ever fallen into this trap? That of blaming the world, on the boss who doesn't value you, on the family that demands too much, on the time you never have left, while the power to change stays asleep inside you. It's so easy to complain, isn't it? If I had more money, I would do that. If things were different, I would try. It's not my fault, it's the system. But here's a burning truth. No one owes you anything. Not success, not happiness, not a red carpet for you to walk on. Clara could have sat around, waiting for a savior that would never come, but she took the scraps of her life and sewed something new. And this isn't just an inspirational story, it's science. A 2024 Gallup report showed that people who take responsibility for their choices are 50% more likely to overcome adversity than those who blame circumstances. Half. This isn't luck falling from the sky. It's what happens when you take the reins. The Stoics already had this answer, but other cultures also saw the same. In the African Ubuntu philosophy, they say, I am because we are, but the first step is always, I am because I act. Epictetus, the slave who gained freedom of mind, was even sharper. The wise man blames no one. Think about that for a second. Blaming the world is like handing over the keys to your life to a stranger who doesn't even know your name. Clara stopped blaming and started sewing. Not just bags, but the future she wanted for her children. And you, how many times have you wasted a day, a week, a piece of your life waiting for someone or something to give you permission to truly live? Here's what you need to do. Responsibility is your freedom, and it starts today. Stop complaining for 24 hours, just a whole day. No if only or why me. Instead ask, what can I do with what I have now? It could be studying something new if you hate your job, taking a small step if you want to change your life, or cutting out what suffocates you. Clara turned scraps into hope because she decided that the next stitch was hers to make. And you, in the comments, tell me, what will you sew today with what is already in your hands? Stop waiting for the world to spin for you. Pick up the thread, the needle, and spin it yourself. The key to your freedom was never out there. It was always there, waiting for you to turn it. Persistence, the fire that does not extinguish. Listen to the sound of Pedro's sneakers hitting the wet asphalt, each step echoing in the light rain of a gray morning in 2024. He is not an elite runner. He is an ordinary man, 35 years old, with an office job that sucks up his hours and a life full of ups and downs. 2 years ago, Pedro decided to run a marathon, something he had never tried before. The first few times he broke down. After 10 kilometers, his legs turned to stones. At 15, the air left the lungs. At 20, his mind was screaming at him to stop, to give up, to go back to a warm bed. Friends and colleagues mocked, "Marathons are not for you, Pedro. That's crazy. Drop that idea." And for a while, he almost swallowed the poison of those words. But one night, as he stared at the dirty sneakers thrown in the corner of the room, a spark lit up inside him. He decided to try one more time. I woke up in the dark before work, ran with rain dripping on my forehead, fell in the mud and got up, ignoring the heat that cooked my skin and the cramps that locked my legs like chains. In 2024, Pedro crossed the finish line. 42 whole kilometers, his body exhausted, his face wet with sweat and rain, but his soul as firm as steel. He wasn't the fastest, he didn't win a trophy, but he beat something bigger. The version of him that wanted to give up. Have you ever felt this heat? That fire that lights up when you start something new, but that threatens to go out when the first blows come. Life doesn't give prizes to those who run with all the energy in the world. It crowns those who move forward, even when the initial shine turns to smoke. Pedro could have stopped at the first pain, at the first fall, but he continued. And here's something you need to hear. A 2024 Gallup study showed that 60% of people give up on their goals after the first big failure. 60%. This means that the majority drop everything when the path gets dark, while the other 40%, those who win, are the ones who get up, rub the dirt off their hands, and take another step, even if it's slow, even if no one sees. It's not about having strong legs or iron lungs. It's about persistence, the fire you refuse to let die. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who faced wars and pestilence with equal calm, wrote something that still burns. The obstacle is the way. It is not something to deflect or fear. It is something to go through, to transform into strength. What shapes you is not the day when everything goes smoothly, when the sun shines and the wind pushes you. It's the day when the sky collapses, the rain drenches you, tiredness knocks you down, and you get up anyway with your teeth clenched. Pedro didn't become a marathon runner because he was born with a gift. He turned because he didn't stop running, because he chose the next step instead of the next regret. And you, how many times have you let a dream fade away because the first stumble convinced you that it wasn't worth fighting for? How many times have you thrown away what could have been yours because the effort seemed too heavy? Here's what the Stoics knew. Persistence is the fire you feed, meter by meter, day by day. It's not about running 26 miles in the blink of an eye. It's about taking the next step, even if it's limping, even if your body asks you to stop. Today, pick up something you've given up or are thinking about letting go of, a plan that's been in the drawer, a habit that's slipped, a struggle that seems impossible. Take a small step, 5 minutes of effort, one more try, one simple movement. Pedro crossed the line because he learned that success isn't about starting strong, it's about continuing until the end. And you, in the comments, tell me, what will you persist in today? Take that fire that almost went out, blow out the embers, and keep it alive. The world is not for those who run the fastest, it is for those who never stop. Discipline, the silent force. If persistence is the fire you keep burning, like Peter running through the rain to the finish line, discipline is what makes that fire burn day after day, even when the will disappears. Think of the sound of a guitar being tuned, string by string, on a busy city corner in 2025. That's where we find Sophia, a 28-year-old street musician, strumming songs she wrote herself. She doesn't have the raw talent of a virtuoso. She was never the best in music school, never had expensive teachers or cutting-edge instruments, but while others gave up, seduced by easy applause or discouraged by failures, Sophia did it differently. Every day at 6 in the morning, she would pick up her guitar, tune the worn strings, and practice for 2 hours before going out to play. It didn't matter the tiredness, the weather, or the few coins in the guitar case. She was there, on the corner, playing. Today, people stop to listen to her, not because she was born with an extraordinary gift, but because she built something that talent alone cannot achieve, a silent strength that echoes louder than the street noise. Have you ever stopped to think about what separates those who dream from those who achieve them? It's not natural brilliance or luck. It's discipline, this quiet choice to do what needs to be done, even when the body asks for rest and the mind makes excuses. Sophia could have waited to feel like it. She could have played only on good days, but she chose to show up every day, and that matters more than you might think. A 2025 Forbes survey showed that 90% of freelancers who fail in their first year cite a lack of routine as the biggest reason. 90%. This means that the majority give up not because of a lack of ability, but because they don't have the discipline to get up, work, insist, even when no one is looking, even when the return is slow. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who ruled an empire while writing his reflections by candlelight, knew this better than anyone. He said, "Do what must be done, not as a slave, but as one who was made for it." It's not about dragging yourself along, it's about mastering yourself, about transforming the ordinary into something powerful with constancy. Sophia didn't become a street musician who enchants because she had magical fingers. It became because she tuned the strings and played, day after day, until the sound was right. And you, how many times have you missed something because you waited to feel like it? because you thought talent would carry you without effort. Here is the Stoic truth. Discipline is the silent force that prevails where talent stumbles. It's not about grand gestures. It's about the basics, done every day. Today, create a piece of discipline in your life. 5 minutes of something you know you need to do. Study, train, plan. Sophia built a stage with the notes she played when no one was listening. And you? In the comments, tell me, which habit are you going to start today? Pick up that guitar you left aside, tune the strings, and play. The silent strength is yours, and it grows with every note you insist on sounding. If discipline is the silent force that Sophia used to transform crooked notes into melodies that echo in the streets, then you are at the turning point, the moment when everything we face together becomes the foundation of your destiny. You are John the blacksmith, fashioning value from rejected bits with firm blows. You are Clara, sowing hope with scraps and an old machine. You are Pedro, crossing the finish line with shaky legs but whole spirit. You are Sophia, tuning life until it sounds like music. Every fear you faced, every doubt you shut down, every action you took, every responsibility you embraced, every step you persisted in, all of it was a battle against the shadow inside you, that voice that whispers to stop, to conform. Stoicism is not just an echo of dead philosophers. It is the hammer in your hand, the fire in your chest, the force that makes you master of what lies ahead. Think about the path you've taken so far. Every word you heard was a brick, every lesson a blow, building something only you can finish. A Harvard study in 2024 showed that 75% of people who changed their lives started with a small step, not an impossible leap, but a simple, decisive, courageous movement. You don't need fanfare or spotlights. You just need the will to raise the hammer and bang again and again. Seneca, who looked death into the eyes as calmly as he lived, said, "Life is yours if you seize it. It's not about waiting for the world to hand you a throne. It's about you building yours with sweat, with firmness, with hands that already carry scars. So, what do you do now? You are the master of your destiny, not a passenger lost in the current. Today, pick one thing. A fear to break down, a step to take, a habit to lift, and start before the sun sets. In the comments, write, "I am my master." I want to see who made it this far. The Stoic warriors ready to forge their own paths. And before I go, a sincere thank you for sticking with me on this journey. You took the time, something no one gives back, to grow with me. If this video sparked something in you, leave a like so more people find that spark, and subscribe to the channel. There's more Stoic wisdom waiting for you. The battle was yours, the victory is yours, and destiny is what you shape. Until next time, masters, may your hands never shake.